You could sell that to pretty much most people, but to sell QAnon, like, what the fuck? I mean, where are the airstrikes gonna be? Where do you know what I mean? Are they gonna start just going full Tonto? Because they probably will, and say, well, we got to bomb Syria, and why is that? Because QAnon are there. Welcome, welcome. It's been quite a while since I've done one of these. Why haven't I done one for quite a while? I don't know. But I'm back in business. Let's discuss something, and that is the far-right myth. Now, look, I've been predicting this kind of thing for a long time. Okay, I've been observing. Way back since 2014, I've kept my eye on this. The sharp rise of what they consider to be far-right terrorism, the threat of the far-right, white supremacy, whatever you want to label it. It goes by many names, and you probably know them all, so let's not bore each other with the fucking names. And I'm not going to go over everything that I've predicted and everything I've been observing. You can check it out yourself. If you're listening to this, you can go over to my website, planetrebus.com, and you can just do a little search of far right, and it'll bring up everything I've been talking about, from the podcast to the videos. If you're watching this on YouTube or on the other platforms, there'll be a link down there, or be things popping up here, so you can check it all out. If you haven't seen this before, you can have a look yourself, come up to speed, and then we'll discuss where we're at, because this year's been fascinating and everything's coming into fruition. And where we go from here, who knows? It's a crazy time. I don't want to predict anymore. I'm quite looking forward to how crazy it's going to get. Now, speaking of the website, that is where you ought to be. If you're watching this on the YouTubes, on the Knowledge and Ignorance channel, this is just me talking to you right now. This will be the last upload that goes onto that channel. Everything is going to be moved across to the Planet Rebus channel. In the beginning, I started Knowledge and Ignorance, that channel itself, because I had this theory that the Planet Rebus channel could get monetized, but I never thought this channel would get monetized. That's why I separated them, because I do this for a different purpose in life. But now, since I've changed my approach to the business model, I don't care about monetization. I don't give a fuck about it. There's so many other platforms. Everything I want is headed towards the website, basically. So if you are subscribed here and you want to go subscribe to Planet Rebus, because there's the next lot of podcasts, and yes, there will be more. I'm going to do this every week now. Go over there, but most of all, really go over to the website and just become a subscriber there. You know, and you'll get notifications and you'll get emails and stuff. I'd like you to just go over there. That's where the future of the business is, because one day I won't be on any of these fucking platforms, because I'll have my own servers. All right, I'm looking very far into the future, me. I'm bloody like that, okay? So for now, I encourage you to go over to Planet Rebus, to the website. Primarily to the website, if you want to subscribe to the Planet Rebus channel. Everything's down there, okay? All right, just getting that out of the way. There's plenty of content on the website that you'll find entertaining and informative, and just plain fucking ignorant. You know, there's blogs on there. I write and shit, man. All right, there's all kinds. Just check it out. You will not be disappointed. So let's get back to it. So, when I made these kind of predictions about what was going to happen with the whole growth of the far right, there had to be a narrative, and I wasn't quite sure what the narrative was going to be, because a lot of these groups, as you will see, you know, are like not very big. You know, like National Action in the UK, the KKK in America is just a joke and kind of pretty much dead, and haven't done anything of merit. And merit, you know, when we talk about merit, you know, we're not talking about, you know, opening up a chain of restaurants. We're talking about, you know, murder and shit, bombs and kidnappings, you know, all the kind of terrorist type business. Well, none of that's gone on. So I was always wondering, well, they can't build up that as the bogeyman. You know, you had the ISIS bogeyman, the Al Qaeda bogeyman, Then you had sort of communist bogeymen, and then, you had the IRA bogeymen in the UK. You've had all these kind of bogeymen going on. So I was like, who's the group we're supposed to be terrified of? Because every time there's been any sort of attack, like shooting up a church or the nutter in fucking New Zealand shooting up a mosque, they are lone rangers, and they don't affiliate themselves with anybody. Not like the lone nutters you get, like the guy who went into the gay club in Florida and killed about 40 plus people or whatever it was and shouted, "Oh yeah, ISIS!" Like, you don't get anyone like that, sort of like begging it, saying, "Oh yeah, I'm with ISIS though." It's like, no you aren't. But, it's not like the old days, if you had your local gangsters, let's say like the Addams family in North London, and you're rolling around in being naughty and going, "Yeah, well, you don't want to fuck with me." "Oh yeah, why's that?" And said, "Yeah, I'm rolling with the Addams family, like." And if the Addams family heard about it, well, they'd kill you, or they'd chop your legs off, or, they'd give you a good slapping, that's for sure. Because, don't be using our name. You've got to pay for that, all right? Whereas ISIS are completely different. And, they're going, "This guy says he did it on your behalf." "Yeah, that's because he did." They're taking credit for shit they haven't done. Actually kind of similar to the Addams family. From what I heard, the Addams family used to get people to pay them money so they could just tell people that this was one of their operations. Like, they franchised their name. Bloody great businessman. So anyway, there was no one they could go, "Oh yeah, I'm with the White Knights of fucking, what's a really white place? I don't know. We're the Isle of Wight Knights or something like that." There's no one like that. There's no white supremacist state, and there's probably nothing out there going, "Yeah, it's called America." Shut up. Shh. Stop talking. We've had enough of people with mental disorders ordering the rest of us around. Okay, the world has become a place where people with borderline personality disorders are telling us what to fucking do. Okay, this isn't how things are supposed to be. Anyway, we'll move on to that another time. So I was wondering, who is it going to be? Who will be the Legion of Bogeymen? Never in my wildest dreams. All right, first of all, I saw the Proud Boys and I thought, well, they're going to be on a terror list at some point, for sure. And they are. But they're not really talking about Proud Boys. Now, you could talk about Proud Boys because they do get into it. On the right, they look at Antifa as loosely connected as Antifa is. They're like, "Oh, it's Antifa violence." There is some violence. There are some stuff that happens. But, the Proud Boys do, get into scuffles, but they haven't killed anybody. So they're not like... So I was like, yeah, Proud Boys, that does stir something up in people's imaginations and gets them a little scared. You're tucking your daughter at night, or your little son. He's got dark hair like me. People confuse it with black. You go, "Well, he looks a bit ethnic, my son. He might be a danger from the white supremacists." Darling, it's okay. Darling, it's okay. There's no monsters in the closet, but there might be Proud Boys under the bed! Possibly. But never in my wildest dreams did I think that QAnon, Q and fucking on, would be the group that the media would go absolutely crazy over, that the security services would go crazy over. This has blown my fucking mind away. I don't know if you can see me, or you're listening to me. If you're just listening, literally I have half a head right now. If you're watching, it's the back of the head. You can't see it. I'm not going to turn my head to show. But my brains have been blown out. It's all over the fucking floor. And just... after the Capitol riots, right? What was it? It was just a fucking hoo-ha, wasn't it? I'm not going to get into how they've sold that narrative. If you don't know, I'm not going to tell you right now. But come on, it's just beyond fascinating. What I am pleased about is that there are people who are, very good voices, like old school left-wing voices, like Glenn Greenwald and Adam Curtis, who have come out and said, yeah, this QAnon, come on, QAnon. Come on, QAnon. Thankfully, but this has just gone over people's heads. To an extent, you could say, because we've become so mollycoddled And that, the safe space generation, and all the parents have really just been overprotective of their children and turned them into just a bunch of simps, gimps, and cucks. These are all the words that'll get you thrown off Twitch, by the way. Well, gimps, no. I mean, that's kind of celebrated, isn't it? And saying, I'm a badger gimp. Do you know what I mean? So we do have kind of a namby-pamby generation. That's what the old folks are saying. Oh, he's namby-pamby, he is. It's kind of like that. So, yeah, I guess a group like QAnon would be terrifying for people who just don't know what they should be terrified of. Do you know what I mean? They'll see 3 people with hats walking down the street. It's like, they're wearing hats! They'll be terrified, isn't it? People in hats. This is what these kind of people are afraid of. Like, Jesus, there's people with hats. You know what I mean? So, yeah, to an extent, the threat of QAnon would terrify a namby-pamby generation. But come on, let's get fucking real about it. All right? QAnon, are you mental? How has this become a thing? The best thing about QAnon is that it's so loose a term. I mean, Al-Qaeda was an organization. ISIS was an organization. Is an organization. These are organizations. And they had loose affiliates. And they had people claim, they had Al-Qaeda in the Mediterranean, or the Mediterranean Peninsula, or Al-Qaeda in Libya, or, ISIS in Algeria. These aren't all accurate ones, but you know what I'm saying. There's offshoots and loosely connected terror cells, but, some of them were very good at coordinating attacks and so forth. QAnon is so loose. Like, I don't know anybody who, there's no one rocking around with a QAnon tattoo, like MS-13. Do you know what I'm saying? There's no initiation. There's no, are you coming to the secret QAnon meeting? Well, what are we going to do? We're going to spray Tom Hanks as a paedophile on the side of the road somewhere. This is, and even is that QAnon? What have they done? You can't even point to anything that they've done. They've really surpassed themselves, as in the establishment. The establishment, man! They've surpassed themselves this time. They have gone full tonto. If you talk about insulting people's intelligence and how people will just follow the line, this is the best example we can think of. This is fantastic. It's like, this is who you're supposed to be scared of. We are going to impose new laws and take away more freedoms because of these people. What's it going to be next in 10 years? Furries. That's how ridiculous this is. You must realize that being in QAnon is the same as being a furry. It's that dangerous. It's that terrifying. It's like, furries can be terrifying. Your dog. Think about your poor dog. He sees a bunch of furries walking toward him. I don't know why you'd be walking your dog around a furry convention, but it's up to you, isn't it? Maybe you want it to take a shit in there. I don't know. But your dog's like mutant, weird fucking dogs walk around on their hind legs. Weird, sexy marsupials. Do you know what I mean? A pangolin with big breasts. They're rubbing each other going, eat out the dog food bowl and let me wank on you. I don't know what the fuck they get up to. But seriously, that is the level. In 10 years' time. All right, I said I wasn't going to do any predictions. Let's just say it. Furries will be a fucking gang. Will be on the gangs list at least. At least. Like juggalos. They're going to be on the gang list. I tried to make this point the other day about people talk about, QAnon and white supremacy on Twitter. The best place to have a debate with like-minded individuals. And, I said, well, juggalos are on the FBI list. Juggalos. Do you know what juggalos are? Go look it up. They're on the gang list. We are living in a and they've been on it for a long time. We're living in a topsy-turvy, weird, fucked up, back-to-front fever dream. That's the only way I can describe it. Because what is QAnon? What is it? It's not even a group. It's like a 4chan post. And there's people who go, I know people who believe in QAnon shit. There's a lot of people on Facebook, ever since COVID came around and people spend more time on the internet, a lot of people are into this shit going, well, I'm trying to explain to my mum that the reason COVID is here is because there is a secret sect of paedophiles and diddling kids, and that's why COVID-19 is here. You know, you got these people. Like, but QAnon isn't even a belief. It's not. I mean, all right, there is a belief system to it. You know, that Donald Trump is going to save humanity, and by overthrowing the deep state and releasing all the child sex slaves that live under Comet Pizza or whatever it's called. You know, and I've been through it before when I was talking about, you know, conspiracies are okay to a certain extent. To a certain extent. You know, to a certain extent. Are they dangerous, though? Is believing in conspiracy theories dangerous? Now, there's people who are trying to convince you that there is because of the Sandy Hook thing, or with Comet Ping Pong Pizza, whatever the fuck it's called, because the guy went down there and went a bit tonto. Yeah, alright, but many belief systems are fucking dangerous. Alright? There's ones that are supported by the mainstream and the ones that are condemned. Dangerous ways of thinking. So to like tarnish, I mean, you could tarnish QAnon as a bunch of nutters like flat earthers. Fine. Cool. You know, I think we should tarnish, I think we should be able to say, well, what the fuck we want about nutters, you know, like some hardline Christian or some Muslim extremist saying, no, Allah's going to chop your head off. Jesus is going to suck out your eyes. Okay, cool. Nutter. See you later. That's fine. I don't care. Someone's go, you know, the earth is flat. It's like, well, cool. What are you doing? Well, why'd you care? Like, why do you even give a fuck? Oh, it's to control us. What? Control us from what? Going to the moon? You going to the moon next week? You're going to be an astronaut. The fuck do you care about if the earth's flat? Who gives a fuck if the earth is flat? On the other hand, you know, it's like, well, there's a secret cabal of paedophiles controlling the world. It's like, all right, well, that's a bit more serious. Which brings to the point of, well, why is that a problem? Because this is how weird the world has gotten in the golden age of conspiracy. Okay, we are in the golden age of conspiracy. After 2001 and the growth of the internet, we invented Looneyland. That's all I can say. And everyone believes weird conspiracies. Like fucking everybody. And I'll get into that. But I've got into that regularly. But the fact is, okay, you think that there's a secret cabal of paedophiles and that's bad. Like when they said to Donald Trump saying, well, what do you have to say about this group called QAnon? Oh, who are they? You know, well, they think that you're going to save the world from a bunch of satanic paedophiles. And he's like, well, is that a bad thing? To even try and, I know they would like to tarnish him as much as possible, but to try and tarnish a bunch of people because they care about the innocence of children. Because there's a bunch of people that do believe that the elites are diddling kids and they're just a bit upset about it. The fact that you can tarnish them as dangerous, evil people is fascinating. Because what are they going to do? Did you see what they did at Capitol Hill? They didn't do much, did they? Not a lot of people go, oh, they killed people! Like, one of them got killed. Shut the fuck up. Ridiculous. Please. And that's the problem. It's not even worth debating with people. This is the problem we have. It's not worth debating. If you don't get it yet, I don't think you're ever going to get it. The war on terror was, I mean, that's one thing, okay, because there was a lot of smoke. There was plenty of smoke. There were bombings, even though that decade, you know, that golden decade of the war on terror, well, it was almost 2 decades. Okay, there were a lot of attacks. It was still way more peaceful than the 70s and 80s. Okay, these are facts. These are facts supported by history and data. I know that's something that people have just wiped from their memory. Well, data, history. What about feelings? Okay, but there was smoke. There was smoke, so like, yeah, you could sell that to the people. Yo, we need to watch you through your television. Okay, that's fine. If we think you're a terrorist, we need to put you in a cell for 30 days without consultation with a solicitor. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not a terrorist. How would you ever label me a terrorist? I care about children and I'm suspicious of paedophile elites. So that's fine. Motherfucker. And what's happened now? Like, you, what the fuck? They sold this to you? Like, QAnon, beware, QAnon are coming. Jesus Christ. If you thought Bin Laden was terrifying, remember Abu Hamza, remember him? He was like fucking, like a fucking, Jesus Christ. He was like a child eating pirate. This motherfucker with his eye and his fucking weird hook. Like, it's fucking Abu Hamza! Like, that guy, fucking terrifying. Jesus Christ. Well, this guy, I mean, what you got QAnon? It was some old bird with a little Q poster going, let the children go! Like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Sort of like with a picture of Hillary Clinton going, pedophile! Like, that's who we're terrified of now. That's who you're supposed to be. They've sold that to you. Like, yeah, you could sell me a bunch of hardline Islamic fundamentalist nutters smashing up statues, drowning gays, setting fire to women who've got, showing a bit of ankle on a Saturday night. You know what I mean? You can sell that to me and say, these are the people you need to be. Like, I remember, look, I've always called bullshit on the whole thing, but even when ISIS at their prime, there was still a little bit of me going, shit, are they coming? Because they could just get on the Channel Tunnel and be here and behead us all. Shall I convert to Islam just to be safe? You could sell that to pretty much most people, but to sell QAnon, like, what the fuck? I mean, where are the airstrikes going to be? Where, do you know what I mean? Are they going to start just going full Tonto? Because they probably will and say, well, we got to bomb Syria. And why is that? Because QAnon are there. Like, oh my God, maybe that should be one of the, all right, put that on the predictions list. Right, furries will be a gang in 10 years and QAnon will be in Syria. Somewhere. There'll be a fucking faction of QAnon. I wouldn't put it past ISIS to have a new propaganda war. And they go, have you heard about this QAnon shit, Abdul? I was like, no, Faisal, what is it? It's fucking men. We're mental, but they're like mental. Okay, well, yeah. Well, there's nothing mental about what we do. That's right. Let's show how really mental we can be. You know, this is what they managed to do. And like I said, I know I've gone off on a tangent. But if they can sell that, they can sell something like QAnon. A bunch of people on Twitter saying, "Release the children." Tom Hanks, drinks adrenochrome through a platinum straw out of little boys' bottoms. If that's who we are now going to give up all our freedoms for, to be safe from, they can sell you fucking anything, okay? Jesus Christ. And here is even more of a problem. Because they can sell that to you, well, they can sell COVID to you. And then you've got the conspiracy thing. So you're looking at it going, well, these are conspiracy nutters. Okay. But then they've managed to sell these conspiracy nutters to the general public as being a terror organization. And then your conspiracy brain switches back on and goes, well, they've managed to sell that to us. COVID? How the hell are you supposed to navigate the complexities of the world when they can do that? How are you supposed to trust having a vaccine from the people in charge when they can convince you that QAnon are fucking Al-Qaeda? Because that's where we're at. It's already happened, as predicted. How are you going to convince anybody of anything? To do anything? What? What are you supposed to believe in? Nothing. There's nothing to fucking believe in. We have gone down this path of ripe conspiracy, and let me make it fucking abundantly clear since day dot. Okay? When people who don't know how to construct evidence together, who don't know about causation, who just see things and construct a narrative in their own brain, which gets reconfirmed by their mate Barry at the pub, This is where you get to. People going, well, I saw some triangles on Princess Diana's Fiat. Like, what the did she drive a Fiat? I don't know. What was she driving? She probably didn't drive. I don't know. Maybe she had a scooter or a Segway. Or did she die before the Segway? Who knows? You know, there's triangles everywhere. My God, the Eye of Horus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Bankers. What are bankers? They're Jews. Jews, what do? They do puppeteers of the earth. Oh, my God. Jeez. People have been going online and seeing patterns that don't exist. They're just putting 2 and 3 and 5 and 6 and coming up with 26 billion and going... And it's not just QAnon people. This is the thing. It's everybody. Oh, Cambridge Analytica. QAnon. Russia collusion. Yeah, Vladimir Putin. The man who couldn't give a fuck about anything. He's the master puppeteer of the world. He's the man you need to be afraid of. The patriarchy. Systemic racism. Do you see? It's all nonsense. Everyone's lost their fucking minds. We have reached the point, I think, of no return in the Western world. Okay. All right. The point of no return. Because now, no one believes in anything. Because there's nothing to believe. There's no trust. And the general public, Joe and Jane average, will follow whatever the fucking idiot box tells them to do. QAnon. They're Al-Qaeda. Oh my God, my son has a Q on his bag. His name is Quentin, but Jesus, shall we burn him like a witch? There's no point, there's no going back from this. This is fucked. It's fucked. I think we have entered a period. Before I was mulling it over last week, I was thinking, I think we are headed for like a global mental health crisis. And then I thought about how the world is right now and what's going on. It's like, no, we're already here. The lunatics have taken over the asylum. It is true. Like, you look at everything. You look how confused people are. And I'm saying, what are you saying? I identify as this weird symbol that you don't know. And if you don't identify me by this non-pronounceable symbol, unpronounceable, then I'll be really pissed off. I know it's kind of a meme and kind of like, an eye-rolling thing going, yeah, well, I identify as a unicorn. Does that make me a unicorn? Well, it might. But the fact is, yeah, that is where we're at. So, you know, if that isn't a sign of some really fucking weird mental health shit going on, I don't know what else is. I don't know what to tell you. You go back in time, okay, and you tell people, go on, find your time machine. Leave the keys under the mat. I'll use it later. Thanks. And go back and be like, well, in the future, there'll be this new terror organization that is mainly middle-aged people and boomers who believe in there's a secret cabal of pedophiles sucking adrenochrome out of 4-year-olds' faces. And they don't commit any real acts of violence. They are the number one terrorist target. And also, most people don't even know what a man and a woman is anymore. That's all gone out the window. All female athletes have been replaced by men with breasts. And they've been whooped. All women who believe in women's rights but don't believe in the rights of men who have transitioned to women are called bigots and sexists. This is the future. Do you wanna kill yourself now or tomorrow? They'll look at you, not like you come from the future. They're saying, you ain't from the future, bruv. You're from fucking Pluto or some shit. Like, wherever. I mean, what are you? Some sort of joke entity? Did the devil send you here to fuck with my mind? QAnon. Are Al-Qaeda. Oh, sorry, I forgot to give everyone a round of applause for that. Fantastic. How did you make it happen? Oh, how did you pull this one off? And joking aside, this is wild and terrifying. to a certain degree. But it is hilarious, of course. Because, you know, at one point when they were persecuting different groups of people, when you had the Northern Irish, you know, it depended upon your surname and all, like, there was many factors, but, you know, they were watching the Northern Irish, like, oh, look at him. What's he bloody up to? With his drum and his fucking ginger hair. What's he up to, eh? Putting a bomb somewhere, are we? Seamus? And with Islamic extremists, like Al-Qaeda and ISIS, you could see how someone was dressing, or the mosque they attended, or, you know, if they were a hardline Muslim or a supporter of caliphates. You know, there was all kinds of ways to identify and persecute different people. But now, when you have the QAnon situation, it's just like, it could be anybody doing anything, saying anything. Oh, but no, you're like, no, white supremacy, blah, 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 blah. Shut up. We already know that white supremacy, racism, all the lines have been blurred about what it actually is. Whiteness has even been redefined, as they can label you being a white supremacist even if you're as black can be. Because whiteness is an identity, apparently. It's news to me. It's an identity that is undefined. QAnon is undefined. There's no goals. There's no established goals. There's no real motivation behind it, apart from, you know, this vague idea of some underground bunker with adrenochrome factories in Washington, D.C. All of this stuff, it's so vague. It's completely vague. It's totally vague. It's just, you can't even define what it is. No one could define what it is. You could define the IRA. You could define any Palestinian group back in the day. You could define any far left organization in Europe that were doing stuff back in the 70s. You could define ISIS. You could define Al-Qaeda. You could define, you know, the Muslim Brotherhood. You could define the FARC. You could define all of these things, all of these groups, all of these ideologies. You can define it. You can define the KKK. You can define National Action. You can define the BNP. Whatever it is, you can define what it is. You can, as loosely connected and vague as Antifa is, you can define what it is. QAnon, you can't define what it is. No one could actually explain to you who they are, what they do, what they want, and what they're going to do, or what they've done. That is crazy. And that is the path that we have been leading towards. The vagueness. Up is now down. Blue is now purple. Well, blue can look a bit purple. All right, blue is now pink. You know, left is right. A penis is a vagina. Whiteness is blackness. Does they all make sense? It should do. That's the only thing that makes sense, is that everything is supposed to not make sense anymore. Just a continuation of disenchantment, disillusion, and confusion. Whereas you have no idea. Someone just says something and you just go, yeah. You know, he's a terrorist. Yeah. You have no idea why, but they just said it. That's it. All you need to know is don't try and make any sense of the nonsense that is coming out of pretty much everything that is established as the voice of truth and what is right. From the police, to the government, to the intellectual elites, to the media, the mainstream media, even to corners of like the new media and the old new media. Don't try and make any sense of it, because it's not supposed to make sense. Keep everyone confused, disillusioned, and then you have perfect control. Now, who's in control? Is it Is it the QAnon nemesis, the secret cabal of paedophiles? No, there's no master puppeteers of the world. People aren't that fucking organised, as is continuously demonstrated by the ineptitude of those in power. But however, everyone is an opportunist. And if they can keep people confused, why the fuck not? They're confused themselves. The confused making everyone else confused, and we're all just sort of walking around in a big confused circle. That's the only way you're going to make sense of what's going on planet Earth right now. So what can you do about it? Like I said, just ignore it, and if anyone comes for you, well, I've got your back. At least that's something. I've got your back. Don't worry about that. I will continue my mission to defend the defenseless, the real defenseless. Don't you worry. And as much as I think anyone that subscribes to the QAnon thing is a complete nut job, you know, you're sort of like a friendly nut job. I'm not going to be scared of leaving you around my children, if I ever have them, am I? You know, let's put it this way. Michael Jackson or someone from QAnon babysits your kids. Who are you choosing? But who's more popular in the mainstream? Like, who's more of an acceptable character in the mainstream consciousness? Michael Jackson. There you go. So it's fine. You can believe what the fuck you want. Who cares? Because I, for one, certainly don't think you're particularly dangerous. You know, I'm calling you out. You think I'd sit here and go, oi, ISIS, come on, cunt. Cunt ISIS, come on, behead me, you cunt. I like kissing boys. I don't. But, you know, just to wind them up. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not fucking crazy, bruv. I'm not going down, you know. I'm not walking up to someone from the Sinaloa cartel and saying, do you know what, I think Mexicans are all a bunch of fags. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm not crazy. I'm not going up to Al Qaeda and saying, you know, Allah was a Jew. I'm not crazy. No, but QAnon, I'm saying, come on, fuck you. Get fucked. That's as scary as they are, like, you know. I hope I've made my point. Anyway, we're back, baby. This is a weekly thing now. I promise you. I am here as your guiding, shining light. I hope that made some things a bit clearer to you, that nothing is clear. That's all you need to know, is it's not supposed to make sense. That's it. That's all you need to know. So the best thing to do is just ignore it. You got better things to be thinking about than what all these fucking douchebags are trying to do to the planet Earth. Okay? You need to think about your money. You need to think about your family. You need to think about the future. Right? The rest of it, it's pretty much out of your control. Just don't get sucked in by the nonsense. It's all nonsense. All of it. That's all you need to know. It's all nonsense. There's a shitload of it. Okay? Right? You're better off... You're better off trying to make sense of a David Lynch film at this point, you know, which is way more fun. Okay? Alright? Anyway. Enjoy the end of Western civilization while you can. They haven't banned booze yet, so you've got that. This isn't booze, by the way. It's kombucha, because I am... And if you're just listening to this, I have a glass of something that looks like booze that isn't. I'm a kombucha drinking wanker. What you want to say to me? Anyway, in all seriousness, it's been a pleasure. In the words of Tupac, keep your head up